Did God reward King Jehu for his faithfulness or his effectiveness? See what King Jehu's battle with God's enemies looked like. But why you should watch this film? I encourage you to explore lesser-known biblical stories or familiar stories from a lesser-known perspective. I do not impose any views or opinions. I simply present the biblical text truly and ask tough questions. You can find more detailed information about my approach in the channel description. Now let's move on to the story in the Bible found in 2nd Book of Kings chapter 10, where King Jehu leads a military campaign against the enemies of God.
Now Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria. Jehu wrote letters and sent them to Samaria, to the rulers of Jezreel, even the elders, and to those who brought up Ahab's sons, saying,
As soon as this letter reaches you, since your master's sons are with you, and you have chariots and horses, a fortified city and weapons, choose the best and most worthy of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne. Then fight for your master's house.
But they were exceedingly afraid and said,
Behold, the 2 kings didn't stand before him. How then shall we stand?
He who is over the household, and he who was over the city, the elders also, and those who raised the children, sent to Jehu, saying,
We are your servants, and we will do anything you say. We will not appoint anyone as king. You do whatever you think best.
Then he wrote a letter the second time to them, saying,
If you are on my side and will obey me, take the heads of your master's sons, and come to me in Jezreel by this time tomorrow.
Now the king's sons, being 70 persons, were with the great men of the city, who brought them up. When the letter came to them, they took the king's sons and killed them, even 70 people, and put their heads in baskets, and sent them to him to Jezreel.
Does fighting enemies require such extreme cruelty as the annihilation of their sons? How can one evaluate forcing others to annihilate their love?
A messenger came and told him.
They have brought the heads of the king's sons.
He said,
Lay them in 2 heaps at the entrance of the gate until the morning.
In the morning, he went out and stood, and said to all of the people,
You are righteous. Behold, I conspired against my master and killed him. But who killed all these? No, now that nothing will fall to the earth of the Lord's word, which the Lord spoke concerning Ahab's house. For the Lord has done that which he spoke by his servant Elijah.
How should we evaluate the justification of cruelty as divine will? Does God wish for the desecration of the dead?
So Jehu struck all that remained of Ahab's house in Jezreel, with all his great men, his familiar friends, and his priests, until he left him no one remaining.
Is it justifiable to annihilate not only enemies, but all people associated with them in any way?
He arose and departed, and went to Samaria. As he was at the shearing house of the shepherds on the way, Jehu met with the brothers of Ahaziah, king of Judah, and said,
Who are you?
They answered,
We are relatives of Ahaziah, and we have come down to greet the families of the king and of the queen mother.
He said,
Take them alive.
They took them alive and killed them at the pit of the shearing house, even 42 men.
How do we evaluate the annihilation of complete strangers, especially those we meet while traveling, simply because they are related to our enemy?
When he came to Samaria, he struck all who remained to Ahab in Samaria, until he had destroyed them, according to the Lord's word which he spoke to Elijah.
Was it really God's will to annihilate many people without assessing who each of them was individually?
Jehu gathered all the people together and said to them,
Ahab served Baal a little. Jehu will serve him much. Now summon all the prophets of Baal, all his ministers, and all his priests. See that no one is missing, because I am going to hold a great sacrifice for Baal. Anyone who fails to come will no longer live.
But Jehu did deceptively, intending to destroy the worshippers of Baal. Jehu said,
Call an assembly in honor of Baal.
So they proclaimed it. Jehu sent through all Israel, and all the worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that didn't come. They came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was filled from one end to another. As soon as he had finished offering the burnt offering, Jehu said to the guard and to the captains,
Go in and kill them. Let no one escape.
So they struck them with the edge of the sword. The guard and the captains threw the bodies out and went to the inner shrine of the house of Baal.
How should we assess the atrocity of the story's protagonist towards a large group of people gathered by deception? Why were they all treated collectively, regardless of who these people were individually?
They brought out the pillars that were in the house of Baal and burnt them. They broke down the pillar of Baal and broke down the house of Baal and made it a latrine to this day. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Jehu didn't depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, with which he made Israel to sin, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan. The Lord said to Jehu,
Because you have done well in executing that which is right in my eyes, and have done to Ahab's house according to all that was in my heart. Your descendants shall sit on the throne of Israel to the 4th generation.
Is it possible that God approves of so much atrocity in the name of his purposes?
But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Lord, the God of Israel, with all his heart. He didn't depart from the sins of Jeroboam, with which he made Israel to sin.
Does God really reward even idolaters as long as they fulfill his will? Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate your support.